So hey guys, today we'll be talking about browser is backend. So it's a fancy statement, but before that, I need to know how have you how everybody knows about web LLMs. So before starting, we need to know what are web LLMs. So what's a better way than knowing about web LLMs than reading a doc? So this is a official documentation of web LLMs. I just source it in my PPTs in the MD file. But that's now how the new engineers work. We generally prefer the AI assisted path, and we need to just search it through NLP using a semantic search. So what if I just take Command K and ask what is how to install it? So if I just ask it, so it told me how I can add the package. I can ask deeper complex questions like how to run it with a web worker. So to optimize my performance and all. So these are all statements are coming from the docs. All are pretty much correct. No issues. And you can just copy paste the code and start working. This is the feature is very common in the new documentation. If any of you have visited the Cloud Code website, they have an assistant. So you don't need to read the complete documentation. You can just paste your problem and it will answer you through the docs. So how it actually, so what if I told you there were no API calls? But how? Every time you visit a website, generally what is happening, they establish either a server-side event or a WebSocket, and they start streaming a response, which costs a lot of money in most cases, and which is not needed. If I do to simple doc search, why I need to call a 7 billion parameter LLM, which can be done in a very easy way. But without API calls, we need to run AI. So how we can do it? So we know for running AI or any compute, we need a hardware. So if not on cloud, so where? We know that CPU is not good at matrix multiplication. So we have a main thread in our JavaScript at where you execute most of the code. But the issue is it is not the best thing to do on the main thread because it can choke. And it's not a critical operation which can freeze the UI. JavaScript essentially meant for the UI part. We have all seen the NVIDIA school demo, Jensen 1, matrix multiplication and the parallel compute. GPU is needed. So GPU is built for parallel mesh, extensive operations. The whole inferencing works over the GPU much better than a CPU inferencing. So what if I told you GPU is already there, on the user's device right now. But how you can access it? So let's go back to the timeline. On 2011, we have WebGL, and 2017, WebGL 2 came out. These are all shaders meant for running complex graphics, which is good, but it is not needed for running you cannot access the full potential of a hardware of a user. It is good for running the complex graphic animations, but it is not there for running AI. So everything changed in 2023. You can access the GPU directly through web APIs and run anything on the GPU shader, any parallel compute code that is needed on the user hardware. So, but the AI models are big. So for example, Llama's models are 14 GB. So how can a user can run it? If I have to download a 14 GB model on a device, it will take hours and it defeats the purpose of running the AI locally because nobody is going to stay for 2 hours on a website to search for your documentation. So this doesn't make any sense. So here comes the quantization. So every AI part, think of it as a number. If I'm not sure how many people are aware how tensors are represented. So there is a floating point precision. So F32 is the most precise, but it increases with the memory. So there's floating point 32, 16, and int4. So int4 is essentially 8 times lesser than the float 32 precision. And it's a 4 GB model comes to 700 MB, which is not a lot if you're working on a Wi-Fi, and if you're executing a tech documentation, mostly you have a good Wi-Fi. So, but what do we lose? If int4 is that good, why not everybody on cloud is running in int4? Why F32? floating point 32, like it comes at a cost of like precision. So there are some loss of precision, but what you gain is speed and lesser compute. So like for the simpler task, like if I have to do a simple code generation and if I have to use a simple reg search. So the reg search I have showed is completely in browser. There's no vector DB, no LLM calls. So I have vectorized the complete markdown through a different model, like embedded it, and just searched it using Llama. So it was like a pretty fast. I think it's most faster than, better faster than like if you call it a GPT API. Because we don't need that much information because it is a custom made site. So for example, if you launch a dev website tomorrow, the GPT is not trained over it. Mostly thing you have to do is to do a vector search over your documentation. The only thing LLM came into the picture is so doing a semantic search. So like I don't have to write the exact words about the documentation. I can just query it and it can fetch it from the different chunks of the documentation. So why can't I just point any model? Like there are a lot of models releasing on Hugging Face every now and then. Why can't I just point any model and run it into the web? So here comes the like most beautiful part of the picture, like TVM Apache compiler. So what does TVM Apache compiler does? So think it of like this, Llama has not designed for like differently designed for web GPUs rather than CUDA, Vulkan. These are all the like Apple Silicon. These are different GPUs. So it is not designed it for like a differently. Like no engineer sitting like they will train specially for like the optimizations for the particular hardware. So TVM Apache came into picture. This is a like think of it as a compiler like GCC in layman terms. So it like what GCC does, like it takes your C++ code and compiles it to the machine code. It is a very vague analogy, but TVM is essentially doing the same thing. So I pick a model which is MCL engine compatible, TVM compilers run it, and there's a target code generation. So I decide like which is my target. Either I want to run it for the CUDA, Vulkan, or like web GPUs. All these things require different optimizations. So TVM compiler optimize it into the int4, so it pre-bakes the artifacts. So at when I'm like visiting the website, I installed WebLLM. So WebLLM is not calling the TVM Apache like and compiling the model in real time. It is already pre-baked. What I did when I just opened my website, in parallel what happened, all the weights were downloaded. And what TVM Apache does, it makes the GPU shaders. So GPU shaders, what it does it, like WebGCL compilers that will execute the code. Like different kernels have different optimizations, like how we can generate a hardware specific code. So it is like WebGSL codes that we will be downloading during the installation and running it on the browser. So all these things are pre-baked. We just download it during the installation, like when I visit my website. So if it is that good, but there are some limitations. So for example, we have a context window. Everyone is aware like a context window is running. Run compact to just close it. So what is a compact, like why we need to run compact window? Essentially like OpenAI has no like less money. Like they can run like increase the memory as much as they can want. But there is a hardware limitation that a KV cache. So what is the transformer architecture does during the inferencing? It pre-computes all the tokens. Like for next token, I need to read previous tokens. So if I have to recompute all the tokens every time, it will be a very slow and very expensive operations and doesn't make any sense. So we use KV cache for it. So essentially, if I like doing the KV cache is a one of n square operation, but when a new arrives, like a new token arrives, I have to just read the previous ones in a O(1) operation, which is computationally very inexpensive. But the thing is, you remember like we downloaded in the weights during the installation. So all of this is transferred to the web GPU. So what we are doing is we are using KV cache in the web GPU and the weights are also lying in the web GPU. So this is a hardware limitation for user device. So like for example, a user has a limited number of resources. So if I keep on chatting over it, the KV cache fills and I have to pre-build my context. So this is one downside for using the web LLM. Though, and one good thing is like is a ChatGPT compatible API, so you can just plug and play solution. You can just replace it. If you have to like test it out, it is pretty fast and gives accurate result for most of the tasks for which we don't need any LLMs. And 85% of the browsers now support the web GPU. So web GPU is not like you need a dedicated web GPU. Most of the PCs that are coming, most of the browsers that are user installed have a web GPU support. So it is like a integrated GPU can also work during the web GPU. So web GPU is now essentially asking for the RTX, the heavier GPUs. It asks for the GPU, and most of the modern architecture devices have like a dedicated GPU for it. Your mobile phone also has a like GPU. There are some cons of using it and some pros. So the first time there's a cold start and you will require to download a weights and can approximately take, depending on the user internet, for me it's like 45 seconds. So what you can do for it? You can either design the UI according to it, or you can like have a fallback as an API. So what you can do, like for initially, when the browser is like downloading the model in background, you can just fall back to APIs. And once the model is downloaded, you can use the model, which simplifies the user experience. And I have to move back to my demo. There is a like, you can design the UI experience according to it. So what you can do, you can bring your AI feature behind the flag. So until my model is loaded, I cannot show the Ask AI button. So what after some time, the Ask AI search will automatically appear once the model is ready. So that's how you can design. And once it's ready, or every load after it, you can just load it in 2 seconds. It's negligible. So there are some different storage knobs that VLLM provides. One of which it is like IndexedDB, browser cache APIs. OPFS is the origin point file system, which is a like you are using like for IndexedDB, you have to do asynchronous writes for weights and all. For OPFS, you can use a worker and do synchronous writes over the storage, which is a much faster way to cache anything like that is like will be used much more times and doesn't need any transactions. So cross origin. This is a really cool feature. For example, you have subdomains and other things in a browser like Chrome extension. What you can define is a COS policy. So you download a model once, and on the subdomains you can access that because the IndexedDB can be accessed, and ls other like storage are shared between the subdomains. So what you can do, like if you have an ecosystem of like websites, you can essentially download it once and use it every time a user visits your product. And you can fall back to like cloud APIs. So GPU is a very expensive operation. So like if I have to communicate with the web GPU through my main thread, so main thread is meant for like showing the UI, essentially using for like state management, like UI, like my decision of showing a progress bar, input, taking an input. Main thread is meant for that, not for the complex calculations. So what we can do, we can just offload it to the web worker. So what you can do, you can just initialize it into a web worker and send a post message to it, and you can just communicate it through a stream. So what you are essentially doing is like serving a separate thread for web GPU, which is not hampering your website performance. So it looks like nothing is happening to the user. Like performance is not hampered. Like if you try to run it on the main thread, it can choke. So how we can keep the model alive? So we can keep the model alive using service workers. Like you can set up a heartbeat, and like service workers are killed according to the browser life cycles. So you can just use with like I'm time's up, so I have to rush a bit. So like GPU is borrowed, not owned. What it means? So essentially what you are doing is like running a AI model on a user device, which we are not aware of, like how much capabilities it has. So like low VRAM, device context is lost. So suppose I have 2 tabs, and one is another like you are running like Figma in it. It is competing for resources with me. It can happen. My GPU can lose the context, and it can destroy the cache. So I have to look for that event. If my GPU cache is restored, I have to like design a recovery path for it. Either I fall back to API, reload the model according to like your risk policies and what the user experience you want. So like shipping to the AI, like local AI means you are shipping for the hardware that you are not aware of. So this is the basic thing, like why local AI? So they are PI data, they are like sensitive information, less than 7 billion parameters model you need to use with your website. In all that cases, you can go for like web LLM. But if you want like reasoning, like your device, like the Adalat AI said that user internet is too flaky. So we cannot use the on-device AI for it. So it really depends on your user base and all. So if the devices are really low end, so you cannot run local AI over it. So the last thing I want to share is like browsing is not a thin client anymore, and it's a compute node. So and you can visit the WebLN document official documentation. It's a pretty nice project and a really complex one. So like it shows like how the TVM Apache compiler uses such a great tech. And thank you. You can connect with me on my socials.